Get your Santa suit ready. We've got a fun one to recap and review on this episode.
We do. I don't have a Santa suit, but I am wearing a Santa and Mrs. Claus earring. So for the YouTube viewers, they're very heavy. They'll probably make clanging noises and very impractical, but I do like to wear them a couple times each season. Or if you were my 5-year-old son, you call Mrs. Claus Mrs. Brown for reasons undiscernible to anyone.
Do you?
Maybe that was her maiden name. Anyways.
Let's get started. Here's the plot summary for the Santa Summit. Again, this one is a brand new one. Came out in 2023 on Hallmark Channel. Countdown to Christmas. Jordan returns home to regroup after some setbacks and attends the town's annual celebration with friends. She bonds with a guy named Liam, but doesn't wind up getting his name before they are separated in a sea of Santas. Let's get down to it. Curtain up, and it's apparently the last day of school, I guess, before winter break for our female lead. Her name is Jordan. She's an art teacher at a high school or a college. I couldn't really tell. What was it, Jennifer?
I think high school. It seemed a little younger. Yeah.
Let's go for that. Anyway, this is the jolliest campus, regardless, I've ever seen. We get decorations. We get cheerleaders. So much joy. We get ugly sweaters, too. It's got it all. Some of the teachers there are a little bit nerdy and flirty in the most endearing way possible. And they chitter-chatter about this event called the Santa Summit that's going to be happening downtown in this nameless town. So stay tuned. Apparently, we're going to take a trip there to the Santa Summit. So
now, did you notice who Ben, the nerdy... I was going to say the nerdy professor instead of the nutty professor, but I guess the nerdy teacher was. We've seen him in a movie before.
No, I didn't recognize him. Who is he?
I only recognized it because we follow on Instagram. Ben, the nerdy teacher, is played by Adam Hertig, who was the male lead best friend guy in Snowman's that we reviewed this summer.
Get out of town.
Wouldn't have believed it if he hadn't posted about it. Even had to go to IMDb to confirm and verify. But yeah.
Small world. So there you go.
Glad to see him in another movie.
Love that. Anyway, Jordan is fresh out of a relationship. She's a little bit bummed about it, but she's suddenly excited about the prospect of trying to get out there and meet some people. So cut to Liam. He's our male lead, and he's new to town and working with his big brother and super excited about the Santa Summit. We get early on that this guy loves Christmas, and I am here for it.
I am here for it. I thought it was funny that the brother, did you catch when he said to his brother, the male lead, I guess, my wife's watching the kids? Like, or we don't have a first name basis with your sister-in-law.
Apparently
isn't
not.
That weird?
Yeah.
That would be the same as if I told you my husband is watching my son. Well, AKA you also know my husband and his name is Andy. That's just kind of, I know they did it to cut on time and cut the, who is Sheila or whatever her name was, it was just funny to me.
That is funny. Yeah. Anyway, the ladies show up and this looks like a big old block party. In the process of getting psyched for it, though, Jordan winds up dropping her wallet. We get a close-up of it on the sidewalk, so you know it's about to be a thing that really plays a key plot point here. Sure enough, Liam finds it and calls it a purse, which I said is a classic guy move.
Oh, Liam. Honestly, couldn't have told you his name was Liam. Loved the movie, couldn't have told you. So she didn't get his name and neither did I.
There you go. I had to sort of go back in my notes and type it once I got it later on.
Yeah.
Exactly. Same for me.
Yeah.
This is how we wind up getting our meet cute here. It turns out Jordan made the wallet here, and she unpacks all of the details for him about her dream home and this and that. It turns out to be, in my mind, a lot of information to offer up just 20 seconds after meeting someone, but it's still pretty cute. He similarly tells her all about his move to town and his career in construction. Opening yourself up is scary, quote unquote, he says, but it's the only way to let something good in. He's got a lot of Kirkland's wisdom tucked away in his little noggin, doesn't he?
I was going to say Kirkland, that's great. Or he's been to therapy a lot.
Well,
he's funny. He has some tools in his toolbox,
he
so
does.
to speak, which I encourage.
because he also, in the same interaction, says this one: vulnerability doesn't mean sacrificing durability. And I wrote in my notes, this is some Brene Brown wisdom that they're offering up early on, and I am here for it. I love a mentally stable and emotionally aware man for once.
I know, and a vulnerable man. I mean, so many times we see like the guy's the curmudgeon and he's hard around the edges and blah, 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 or he just doesn't have that much depth to him. But in this brief interaction, we got a lot of depth to him, and I enjoyed it.
I did too. I liked him out of the gate, and I liked her out of the gate too. So they keep
I had forgotten we've seen her in 2 movies. I knew she did a Royal Corgi Christmas, but she was also in a professional bridesmaid, a Royal Corgi Christmas. Now, we did not like a Royal Corgi Christmas, but we liked her. We liked Professional Bridesmaid better. So she just keeps getting better. She's like, fine wine to me, that Hunter King.
I agree. So they keep on chatting on the sidewalk. It turns out they both like tacos and Casablanca, and he asks to buy her a drink. So they go inside the big old bar in town. This town, by the way, Jennifer, looks like a place I want to visit. This looks like one of these fun, everybody's having a good time kind of places. And I legitimately hope that this is a real event somewhere, and I want to find it and I want to go to it. That's how much I sort of enjoyed this whole concept here.
And I'm kind of surprised Nashville doesn't have something similar. I mean, we have like pub crawls, and this was kind of a pub crawl, but jollier.
Yeah.
Not as many people laying on the ground at the end of it.
Maybe for season 3, we should do one of these and organize it and make it sort of our podcast event in Nashville in our spare time.
Are we the mayors of Nashville or councilmen or somebody who can plan such a thing?
No.
I think you're overestimating our power, but I appreciate the dreams and the ambition. I'm down for it.
Let me offer some Brene Brown wisdom. Shoot for the moon. Even if you miss, you'll land among the stars. Anyway, there's been a big mix-up inside the big old bar, and the Santas take a tumble. So it's a weird sort of situation where they're trying to hang out, and all of a sudden they get separated, and they lose
red and white everywhere. Yeah.
It's a little comical the way this
because it is not lost on me that everybody is fully decked out. No one called this in. Where did they get Santa suits of this caliber that quickly? Especially the girls, they weren't planning on going to this. They just rustled it up.
Yeah. Well, apparently
it's impressive.
Is one of those times where everybody's got this in their back pocket and they're ready to go.
I admire the follow through and the gumption that they had.
Indeed. Well, the 3 ladies jet off from the bar to the next place for fancy cocktails, because this is the situation for the Santa Summit. It's this prescribed route where you go spot to spot to spot to spot to spot to spot, and you kind of do this little thing. So this is what we get throughout this whole movie. So the 3 ladies, they're off to the next spot, but Jordan is, as you would say, Jennifer, already a smitten kitten when it comes to Liam, and she cannot keep gabbing about her sudden infatuation. He is equally smitten with her and tells a random barkeeper about her. His big brother is like, dude, slow it down. Anyway, the ladies are off enjoying some 12 days of Christmas cookies, which do look delicious to me. And Stella, who is the Grinch of the group, she isn't feeling it. But she's got this suitor guy who keeps following her around and is definitely into her. And she's like, please, just stop. Did you like Stella?
Funny. I did like Stella. I liked Stella from the go because when they were at school and Jordan was trying to convince her to come, she said, my plans tonight are wine, a warm bath, and 9 to 13 hours of sleep. And I was like, me too, girl. She's just very dry. She's just not into it. And then she has this rocker guy super into her. And I thought it was funny, their little banter back and forth.
I did too. So then they jet off to this place called Nashville's, which is, of course, the country bar in town.
The country and western bar, because we all have just country western line dancing all the time in Nashville. Y'all come on down.
All the time. And by jet off to that place, I actually mean they ride on a fancy bike that's being driven by a guy dressed in a reindeer costume, posing as a guy named Dasher. So There you have that. Liam is literally just like one step behind them, and he gets a clue from Stella's suitor that he's not far behind the ladies. He convinces his big brother to keep on the chase, and they're off to Nashville. So they are following quickly. Cut to Nashville's, and of course, we are line dancing to a twangy version of Jingle Bells. We get a full-on bull lasso montage after the ladies commit to leaning into the fun of it all at Nashville's. Stella saddles up to the bar, not knowing that she winds up right next to Liam. And this is what I like about this movie, is they all sort of have these little intersections throughout the entire thing. And you're sitting at home watching it, and you're like, that's the guy. That is the guy.
Figure it out. I know. Just want to jump in the screen, tell them. Yeah, it was super fun.
They wind up chatting, then wind up on the dance floor, like mere feet from each other. Like we see this camera shot of him dancing and then her dancing, and we're like, just turn your head, please. Just turn your head. But then the movie would be over 28 minutes into it, and we can't do that. So.
Well, they didn't know what each other looked like, because when they met, they had their Santa beards on too. So they only saw each other's eyes. So even if they had flat out seen each other, they wouldn't have necessarily caught on that. I guess if she saw his tattoo, he had a tree tattoo on his wrist that she had pointed out in their encounter. If she'd seen that, it would have been given away. And also, yeah, it's just a movie. But
there you go. Yeah. Jordan goes to pay her tab, and Liam's big brother is right there and spots her fancy wallet. So now he's bought into the mission of finding her too. So there you go. The ladies go check out some food trucks, which look really, really delicious to me. The boys stop briefly, but they think they've got to jet off to the next spot. So now they sort of leapfrog the ladies a little bit. Ava, who is the third member of this little girl group, she is the nerdy one, and she admits to being a LARPer, which, if you're unfamiliar, dear listener, is a live action role player. When I lived in a part of town just west of downtown Nashville, Jennifer, there would be people who would be LARPing at the park every Saturday, and it was very much their thing. So I'm familiar.
That park is they're big on the LARPs at that park. I know
big on the LARPing there. Yeah. Stella admits to being grumpy about the summit and about Christmas in general. Their friendship is on full display, and I got to tell you, this friendship between these three women felt really authentic. It felt like they each had their own things. They still liked each other, even though they were all vastly different. I really bought their relationship throughout this entire thing. Yeah. The ladies go off to the sledding hill, which is one of the stops on the Santa Summit tour, and they just miss Liam by mere seconds. But Ava's nerdy love interest is there, and so too is Stella's suitor. I never get his name, Jennifer, so I just call him Stella's suitor the entire time.
The rock guy, yeah.
The rock guy, yeah, whatever. And he cutely challenges her to a sledding race. If she wins, he'll leave her alone. But if he wins, she has to sing at the piano bar, which is a future stop on the Santa Summit tour. And what do you know? He wins. So now she's going to have to sing at some point. Backstory with her, by the way, is she used to be a music teacher at the school, but the music program got cut, so now she's teaching English. So she's super grumpy about that because she's not passionate about it. So we get that she's got some kind of musical training in her background, and that's really what her passion is. So.
And we make it probably sounds creepy that the rock guy's following them around. It didn't come across creepy. He was very innocent, very tame. He wasn't overstepping boundaries. It was just they kept running into each other, and he was just trying to talk to her. So just to get that out there, I didn't think it was creepy. I thought it was entertaining.
Yeah. So the ladies plus Stella's suitor are off to the next spot. So we get more details on Jordan's big breakup. She regrets the fear that she's experiencing in the present day that's associated with it. Stella and her suitor get a little bit chatty about her job change. It's a little bit quirky and a little bit flirty and a lot of it interesting to me. I sort of bought it throughout. Jordan's friend is nerdily quoting Lord of the Rings. Ava, in relation to her nervousness about running into her love interest. Stella's suitor reveals that he's had a run-in with Liam earlier on in the day, and the ladies have renewed enthusiasm that it's all going to happen. And mind you, listener, this is all unfolding over the course of a single, afternoon, maybe?
I wrote that down. How long is this Santa Summit? Because it's daylight for a long time, and we know, thanks to daylight savings, it gets dark at 4:45 here. So when did they start? What time is it? Because it's still plenty daylight by the time they get to the sledding hill. This must have started at like noon on
I think so.
Saturday.
I think so. But there's a
And
lot
then
of day drinking going on, and boy, they keep their faculties together throughout this entire thing. So I'm really impressed with their constitutions.
Well, they ate a lot. They ate a lot of pizza because the math teacher, nerdy girl, was dividing the pizza equally amongst the three of them. And so, maybe they didn't drink that much. Maybe they just had like half a drink everywhere they went or something. I don't know.
That could be doing what my grandmother would say, putting blotter in your system. My grandmother was very big on, if you're going to drink, you have to have blotter in your belly. So, Mary,
there you go.
God bless. Anyway, we are getting some really bad karaoke at our next Santa Summit spot. And by the way, I gotta love that new term, karaoke, that we picked up in that movie from a couple of weeks ago. I'm using that from now until the end of time. I'm calling it
I want to go somewhere that has karaoke. Now, I did wonder, one of the girls singing, not our main cast, but one of the people up on stage singing karaoke before Stella went up there that was really sad and really terrible. She looked like the friend in Snowman's. Remember, that was so funny? Like it was the main girl's co-worker that had the jerky and all that stuff. It looked like her, but I couldn't prove it on IMDb. So I don't know.
That's
in my mind, it's the same person.
Yeah, no,
it looks like her, but I don't know.
That's a good call. Yeah.
Maybe I'm just in the Snowman's mind because of Ben. I don't know. Anyways.
Could be. But it was pretty funny, I thought. This bar is fun looking, where the nerdy friend saddles up and orders cider. Who's there but Liam? So Ava's there talking to Leah. She reveals that she's nervous. He's incredibly encouraging to her, but down on his own chances to find Jordan. So his big bro snaps his beard, gives him some encouragement, and he's off to execute some big plan that he has, some big grand gesture to make it known that he wants to find her. So stay tuned on what that looks like. Stella's nervous to sing, but given the other performances, I think she's going to be just fine. Her suitor is really taking the time to talk her up and encourage her. So Stella's called up to the mic, and she starts off, and she's super nervous and a little bit shaky, but then she finds her footing and sings a really jazzy version of Jingle Bells, complete with a whole like scat run in a bridge moment.
Yeah.
She one horse open slays it, and the crowd literally goes wild. She shares a sweet moment with the suitor, and it's looking like love. Jennifer, do you like my one horse open slays it line?
I like it, but I'm pretty sure you liked it more because you were so proud of yourself. I'm patting you on the back through our little Zoom call.
I'm very proud of that pun. You know, we love a pun here on the pod, a pod pun.
Of course. I was going to say, I think she finally put the suitor rock guy on the nice list in her mind. That's
there you
solid.
go.
This would seem to be a turning point in their relationship.
I think so too. Anyway, Jordan's ex, Nico, he gets up to the mic with his new girlfriend, Portia. Portia. And it sucks the air right out of the moment for Jordan. So now we're off to the silent disco, which really, we're listening to Christmas EDM here, and it's about as bad as you might think it is. Jordan doesn't make it in just yet. She's unpacking her sadness with the reindeer bike guy that we saw earlier on, who happens to be grabbing hot cocoa at the same roadside stand. The reindeer reminds her, you find love when you realize it's already in you. Again, more Brene Brown kind of wisdom here. And the light bulb, ding, it just goes off for Jordan. She's feeling up, she's ready to rock, and she makes her way into the silent disco. The cute nerds, so Ava and her love interest, they meet up on the dance floor, and this scene is really, really fun. They confess their love for one another, they finish each other's Lord of the Rings quotes, and they smooch, and it is really, really cute. Now, the thing that I especially loved is because it's silent disco, they're yelling to one another, and they don't realize they're yelling because they have headphones on. I thought that bit was pretty funny.
I've never been to a silent disco. Have you?
No, I haven't. It looks kind of fun, I suppose. I don't know.
I guess. If it's Christmas themed, I'd be down. Now, is this where the DJ was, or is that later?
Yeah, this is where the DJ was, and he does this. Hey, Jennifer.
Hey.
Jennifer, When I say ginger, you say bread. Ginger.
Bread.
Ginger.
Bread.
Yeah, it was that bad, folks. Yeah. So
Yeah.
we get a dance.
So the DJ was Niall Matter, who is another Hallmark male lead. Fun fact.
There you go.
Cameos abound.
Cameos abound. And we get this whole dance montage to a song called DJ Play a Christmas Song, which is a Cher song, go figure. I actually Shazammed it. And not only do we hear it in this movie, but we also hear it in the commercial break. So apparently Hallmark went all in on the budge for this one, bought the rights to it, and is just going to get their money's worth out of it. So
yeah, if you're buying a Cher song, you need to use it everywhere.
Yeah,
Cher
exactly.
Everywhere.
Cher everywhere. Every schwer. Jordan goes off to check out the gingerbread houses, and she's meandering around, and they all look very sort of standard, like I bought a Target kit and put together a gingerbread, except, what? She sees a gingerbread house that's the house she had on her wallet. It's her dream home. It's the one that Liam saw, and it turns out that Liam made it at the last moment and tucked a little note by the front door of the gingerbread house, hoping she'd find it. And it's at this point I literally start crying. I thought it was I did. I thought it was a gesture for the ages. It
was so sweet.
Yes.
Because the way they spliced it together, I didn't realize at first, and this was like what was intended, is she walks in and then he's putting the finishing touches on. I'm like, oh, they're meeting, but it was really like showing him building it, and then he left the note, so they weren't there at the same time. But I thought this was so stinking sweet. Mm-hmm. I did love it. This was very, very cute.
Yeah.
And what a way to get her attention. My gosh. Seriously. And excellent memory too. I mean, I know it wasn't that long ago, but it was a few drinks ago, like you said. You can still remember what the wallet was.
I'm impressed. So they jet off.
It's photographic memory.
It could be. They jet off to the big finale tree lighting and the concert. We get a countdown of the tree lighting, and she's a little sad because it looks like he may not be there. But then they get to 0 and the tree turns on, and she turns around and, oh, he's there. She lays it out there, and it's love. Stella Suter, it turns out, by the way, is the lead singer of the North Pole Rejects, the big band that they've got closing out the Santa Summit. So he's up on stage, and she's like, what? And then he pulls her on stage, and they have a moment, and it's love all over again. The bros reaffirm their love for one another. The 3 ladies are all on stage singing Must Be Santa Claus, and the big inflatable tree is crowd surfing, which is just like chef's kiss, icing on the cake. This thing ends in the most jubilant way possible.
Okay, it's time for our gold or coal segment. Here's what we do. We each give 3 gifts. If there's more gold, it's a party for the ages. If there's more coal, it's a misconnection. And if it's a tie, it's just a Merry Christmas. Josh, coming to you first.
Gold for me out of the gate. Fun, fun, fun. I thought this movie was a fun watch throughout the entire thing. And I really liked how this was a 1-day plot line. Start to finish, 1-day plot line. I loved that as a storytelling device. I've never seen that in one of these, and I thought it really worked with this concept. So gold for me.
That's such a great point. We didn't need an advent calendar. We didn't need to have the debate of whether you're counting up or counting down to Christmas, because it didn't matter. It was all just over a lot of hours, evidently. I hope they wore appropriate footwear as much as they were trekking around. But yes,
they got
I got to give some, I got to give some gold. It was full of energy from the jump. There was no lag. Even like the more serious moments weren't too cliche. I mean, it worked for me, and it kept the energy up, kept my attention. And I was honestly sad when it ended, which usually sometimes like the third act, I get a little, and check my phone, check to see how much time is left. And I didn't do that with this one. So gold.
Yeah. More gold for me. I bought the relationship development here between Jordan and Liam, which is interesting because they did not spend much time together at all throughout this entire thing. And I think that really speaks to his strengths and his well-roundedness and her willingness to sort of open herself up. because it was like we got to see them kind of being who they are individually and saw throughout the course of this thing how good they would be together. So I bought their relationship through and through. I thought they had really nice chemistry.
Yeah, agreed. I will give some gold. As much as I love the Liam and Jordan storyline, I love that it was mostly about the friends and their bond together and them just having a big old day of fun. It was like a more toned down version of Bridesmaids. Like, it was in that vein, like just girls having fun and Liam and his brother having fun together. It was really, really excellent. So gold.
Last gift for me is gold. So it's all gold for me on this one. I legitimately LOL'd throughout this thing. I thought this script was really well written. There were funny quips throughout this entire thing. I loved when Dasher, the reindeer bike guy, said, "A non-response is actually a form of response." I was like, yes, I've been saying that for years. But my favorite thing that I laughed out loud is this Easter egg that they had with this inflatable Christmas tree that just popped up.
You took mine.
It popped up throughout this entire movie. It was like you kept spotting him doing weird and random things. And I just thought it was this really funny wink and a nod throughout this entire thing that just was sort of an Easter egg of sorts in the middle of this Christmas movie.
Yes, yeah. The inflatable tree was named Fresh Pine, they said. I loved. And when it was crowd surfing at the end, come on. Jeez Louise. I have to give gold too. So this is our perfect gold on gold on gold on gold movie. If you have friends that judge the Hallmark movies or these tropes and all the plots are the same, they're really sappy, show them this one. This is something that's so different, but not alienating. It's not so far out there that they're trying something crazy that they can't pull off. It's just a different story that's fun. And like you said, takes place in one day. Like, they just did enough that was different that really, I think, worked, and they pulled it off. And I want to watch it again. So
I do too, because I feel like I missed things. I missed those tree moments. I missed some of the one-liners. I think I would absolutely watch this one again. So, wow, Jennifer, dare I say it, this is possibly a contender for one of the best of the year for us. And we're just a few weeks into the season. It's rare that we have a full gold one, but this is full gold, 6 gold, and we're going to call it a party for the ages. And like I said, this is going to be on my short list for one of the best ones this season. I thought it was an absolute joy to watch, and I would 100% watch it again.
Yes, well, you called it in the draft. You said it was very buzzy, and I had not heard the buzz. So I was like, we'll see. But man, it just really caught me off guard and took me by surprise. So I was very happy to see it. Yeah. Yay. It's my favorite we've seen so far this year, without a doubt. So we'll see where the rest of the season takes us. And that, friends, is another episode of Do You Watch What I Watch?
Special thanks to Nick Shores, as always, for our incredible theme song, and to you for listening and watching.
That's right. And if you like our podcast, help us out. Tell a friend. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram, Twitter. Give us a follow. Give us a comment. You can connect with us on our website at doyouwatchwhatiwatch.com. Next time, we are trying a new movie on a new network. As we watch, recap, and review, we're Scrooged from Up TV, and here's the synopsis. Sarah and Scott, high school sweethearts, parted ways after college. They return to their hometown to attend their 10-year high school reunion. Three ghosts will visit them over the next 3 nights, showing them what they gave up. I think you know where this is going. We will have much to discuss. But until then,
may your days be merry and bright. We will see you next time.